Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of Jabulani Podcast, a segment of Jabulani Radio programs. And as you know very well, the main goal of Jabulani Radio has always been to promote African music, at the same time promote African culture. I'm your host, Shaddy Shihusa, and today I'm excited and privileged to introduce to you the Rumba monk, the face behind two Jabulani Radio programs, The Dawn of Hope and Rumba Fiesta. He'll tell you more about himself. Karibu tena zaidi rafiki yangu. Mambo vipi?
Thank you so much.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Uko salama?
Yes, I'm good.
It's been a minute since I last saw you, bana.
Yes, I'm good.
And you're glowing. It seems like that you're not singing the Kasongo song.
Life is good with me.
One thing I was told is if you like listening to good music, you never grow old.
Yes, that is it. And it happens that this is music that has been happening in the background since I was born. So basically, I was born and brought in music.
So in your entire life, the things that you've been associating yourself with is purely mziki.
Yes, and possibly that is the reason you say I'm glowing.
Karibu zaidi. And I'm happy to be having you here today. Papa, Mr. Jerome, Ogolla Mokipenda, the Rumba monk. So, who is the Rumba monk?
The Rumba monk is, as you said, Jerome Ogolla, a music enthusiast, a keen observer who has over the years listened to, danced to, studied, and gone ahead to learn 1, 2, or 3 things behind the great voices and the men who make this music, essentially meaning that he is a big music commentator, as I speak.
A big music commentator. Wow, 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 wow,
Yes.
wow, wow. Do you have maybe a specific analogy behind the name, the Rumba monk?
A monk is
Like, why did you decide to call yourself the Rumba monk?
Because a monk owns a monastery. A monk is the man behind every activity that happens in a shrine for a specific function. For this case, in this music now that I'm so deep into it,
Okay.
then the most cherished title that befits me is none other than the monk himself.
Nice, super nice. Kompigo tena zaidi. And we are really grateful you being part and parcel of Jabulani Radio, and our goal has always been to promote classic African music and African culture, making sure that we are not losing our original identity as African despite the civilization and despite the change, the global change that we are actually experiencing right now. And that takes me to a question. You being part and parcel of Jabulani Radio, what is Jabulani Radio to you? If someone asks you today, like, monk, why should I take my time to listen to Jabulani Radio?
I'd say Jabulani is more than a radio.
Okay.
Specifically, it is a bridge. It is a link between a people, that is Africans, and the world. When you tune into Jabulani, you are actually listening to the story of Africa being narrated by Africans themselves through their arts. And for this case, the art is music.
So basically, if you become a lover of Jabulani Radio, it means you're going to understand how Africa looks like, the culture of Africa, and how you're supposed even to live as an African.
Yes, every drum beat tells a story. Every guitar strum tells a story. Every aspect of the society is communicated through art. And this art can be conveyed in different formats and in different means. But for this case, when this music is played, maybe from a different forum, it means now that the information being relayed per se is going to the global audience, but it's not coming from the owners. So if it comes from Jabulani, it comes from Africans So it comes from the owners. It is Africa speaking to the world. And that is why we do it differently. And like any other FM station, matters are completely different at Jabulani.
Because one time, a listener actually asked me, why did you guys choose to go the African music way? Because currently, even if you listen to radio stations, what other radio stations are doing currently, they are playing what is in the market right now. But Jabulani Radio has really focused on what was in the market back then. We are now bringing it back and trying to tell people, you know what, this is what real music was.
Yes, music has that social, cultural aspect. It's not just about entertainment. As much as we may dance to the beat, but there is something that must resonate to the dynamics of the society. There is something that should be reflective of the people behind the music. There is something that is being conveyed through the lyrics. It's not just about music, and that is why there could be several other genres that are associated with the African continent, but we strictly stick to those that tell the story of Africa.
So does that mean that each and every African music or African style of music tells story about Africa?
Yes, each and every type of a genre is associated with a particular civilization. For example, along the Kenyan Tanzanian coast, we have a very popular genre of music called Taarab.
Okay.
Taarab is associated with the culture of the coastal people. It tells a story of the coastal people. If you go to South Africa, you get Kwaito, which is dominated by the drums. It is this drum set that actually defined the ceremonies that they had before the Western civilization came in. That is what defined entertainment. If you go to the mountainous part of Kenya, the central part, there's a traditional music called Mwomboko. It defines their ways. If you go to Nyanza, there is a genre of music called Benga, which also defined their ways. It was specifically an improvement of their previous traditional music, which was associated with their culture. So I'd say every form of civilization had some kind of music, but then some genres had an opportunity to grow and even outgrew what would have been their traditional frontiers, whereas some remained within the villages. So some genres are more known than the others. And as it happens with the music, the more globalization happens, some other aspects also get fused into these particular genres and they get changing with the day, just like any other aspect of culture.
So basically, African music is tied to a culture. Each and every African music is tied to a culture somewhere.
Yes.
Because that's why you'll find, if you come to Kenya, the Luyas have their own way of doing music, the Luos have their own way of doing music, but at the end of the day, it is conveying...
If you want to talk about Luya music specifically, we will talk about Umutibo, which was popularized by Shem Tube. If you want to talk about Luya music, we may talk about Litungu. It's an instrument, but that particular style of plucking had been associated with a particular genre. Okay. Done in a modified way, we get this. There is a popular beat in Bukusu land. They call it, like the one Barasa does, they call it Tindikiti. They even...
Tindikiti, yeah.
It speaks of a specific community. Now, if you want to get what these people are talking about, you're allowed to get it creatively through art, not specifically through a spoken word. Because I can choose to lie to you. But that art is like a mirror. It is reflective of the happenings in that particular
because
society.
even the performance, it used to vary differently depending with the occasions, mostly. Yes. Because if in your funeral, you realize that the performance is very different. Like in Luya, there are songs we know. Even you feel somebody, even you hear somebody singing them, you tell them, no. This one is not supposed to be sung at this time.
Yes. Each and every cultural aspect had music for that particular occasion. We had songs for war, songs for circumcision, songs for harvest ceremonies. And so for you to tell this story of war, this story of harvest, this story of circumcision to the world, you will play that music. It will relay that message to the world better than if we had brought somebody to narrate us the culture of that particular story. Music generally an art. And that is why Jabulani serves it differently. We are telling the story of Africa through art, and specifically music.
And I think it is something that is going to make people feel, I think we bring back the glory that was lost. Because I believe if we would have upheld African culture and traditions, our way of doing things, it would have made Africa a very unique continent. But again, I'll be told that change is inevitable.
Change is inevitable. There are some changes which come with a positive impact to the society, and there are some changes which end up eroding the values which actually define that particular society. So change should be embraced, but not all forms of changes come with a positive impact to the society.
And I think that is the reason as why we still have Jabulani Radio. I understand in Africa we have several genres.
Yes.
And from my understanding is African music has always been telling a story about Africa. Does all these genres talk about African history?
I can say there are some genres which have been dwarfed to the essence that they are little known beyond their villages of origin. And we have some genres like Rumba which have managed to surpass all these others. In the sense that if I go to a European club and I ask for African music, most likely they will play for me Rumba, because that is what will come to the mind automatically. So Rumba is somewhat a representative of the music that is done in Africa. Okay. Although this should not be construed to mean that it is the only music that is happening in Africa. Yeah. We have Makossa in Cameroon. Just like I told you, we have several genres in Kenya. In South Africa, we have very many genres. We even have contemporary ones that are not attached to any specific part of culture. Okay. Like in Nairobi, you will get, there is genge, there is hip-hop. If you go to Tanzania, there is they call it bongo. Yeah. It is not attached to any aspect of culture, but it is still recognized as a genre of music. But Africa, if you listen to Rumba, you will definitely know that this one is intertwined to the history of Africa. For example, Independence, Cha-Cha, Tableronde. What will I be talking about? I'll be talking about Congolese independence, because these songs were composed specifically for the event which happened in January 1960 in Brussels, which led or culminated to the independence of Congo. Yeah. If I sing, for example, Sasa ni lunch time, tufunge makazi, twende kwa chakula, tuje tena sanane. I'm simply capturing the challenges that the Abeni are facing.
I can really relate with that song.
Ukizaliwa wewe ni kijana, ukose kazi tabu yote itakufuata.
It's very true, by the way.
I'm simply telling the history or the story of a people. That is what puts this particular genre of music apart from the others. That is it. For example, if we say there is a genre called gengeton, it is themed on drugs, it's themed on sexuality, and also themed on street violence. It is not telling a history of Africa. The three aspects have got nothing to do with Africa. That's why Rumba has managed to surpass all this song.